Live from WTOC, the Southeast news leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Well, we hope you all had a great Christmas. Thanks for joining us here on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley, joined with meteorologist Dylan Smith. A lot of folks heading home for the holidays today, whether it's in the air, on the roads. Dylan, sounds like the weather's looking pretty good if you do plan on being out.
It is. It's looking very nice if you're leaving the area or if you're going to be around the coastal empire as we go into the rest of the holiday week. And I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into our stuff. We've got sunny skies out there right now. Really not looking at too many issues. Temperatures are back in the 70s. Still upper 60s to lower 70s right now. And as we go throughout the rest of today, see, Jude had to pull us up.
Oh, okay, I'll take us away.
It's the day after Christmas, man. We're just trying to get through it, let's be honest. But it's going to be absolutely gorgeous out there this afternoon. For anybody who's not like us and not having to work today, great weather for being downtown or really just anything you really want to do outside. I've said this forecast so many times, Jude. I think this week,
I can tell.
I'm a little bit of a broken record right now. I'm not going to lie. Still lower 70s at our beaches, mid to upper 70s in our inland areas. Let's press that again. And we're going to be looking at, you got to get rid of me now.
All right.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Here, how about we'll go on the left side?
Oh, gosh, we're going to get complicated with it. All right, lower 60s as we go into 11 o'clock later on tonight. But pretty much, as you can see, we're joking around because the weather's – okay, that was fancy.
Thank you.
We're joking around because the weather is not looking like a whole lot. You know, pretty much going to be looking at 60s as we go into tomorrow morning. A lot of pretty much the same kind of weather as we go into tomorrow. Sunny to mostly sunny skies. A little bit of clouds could be out there during the afternoon. High temperatures back in the 70s again as we go into the afternoon. But out of the weekend, the better day is going to be today and tomorrow. Going into Sunday, we're still going to be looking at lower 70s out there. Upper 50s is what we're going to be looking at as we go into pretty much Sunday morning. But it's going to be cloudy. Not going to be as pretty out there. We've got high pressure that's going to come off of the Outer Banks area, and that's what's going to deliver some of that moisture back to the region. Now, the difference in what we've been tracking throughout the week is the front that we were talking about next week is going a little bit slower. We'll keep our 70s through Monday, but this is when we're going to start that transition. Next front comes through, gusts up to 25 miles per hour, some scattered showers, and we're going to feel those through the overnight into much of Tuesday as more of that cooler air slowly starts to filter its way in. It's not going to completely come into the area, though, until we get pretty much to Wednesday. And then after that, sunny skies will start warming back up as we head into the first few days of 2026. But let's go ahead and pull up that 7-day, and you'll have to get rid of me. And what we're pretty much going to be looking at during this time is great weather for anything you want to do outdoors the next couple of days. Transitions on Monday, cools down as we go into Tuesday very quickly from 75 Monday afternoon to 53 Tuesday. And then we're looking at conditions to be below freezing as we go into Wednesday for the entire area, probably mostly inland areas as we go into Thursday. And during that time, feels like conditions could be in the 20s. So I know a lot of people are going to be out and about when it comes to New Year's Eve, New Year's Day in the aspect of the morning. But it's going to feel similar as we head into the afternoon or the evening temperature-wise. So basically, if you're making those plans to be out and about during those holidays, just make sure that you have that heavier winter coat. Definitely not going to be feeling like Christmas this year.
Okay, gotcha. Because yesterday felt great being out.
I know. It's amazing.
But yeah, okay, so Christmas plans. I know we don't drop anything in Savannah, which is kind of a shame. In Boise, where I'm coming from, we would drop
the spud potato.
We dropped a 2,000-pound potato in front of the state capitol.
Did it have to be 2,000 pounds? Like they found a farmer to grow one every year? Like how does this work, Jude?
Well, I don't know.
It was a moon pie in Mobile. It kind of just represents itself, like the candy.
Oh, that's cool. It had wings on it too. And yeah, they drop it down over the Capitol on New Year's. I'd always do the New Year's shows.
When potatoes fly, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go, yeah. But I know we don't drop anything here in Savannah, but I heard there's fireworks and some nice opportunities to go walk around River Street typically.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a great evening to be downtown and just enjoy being down by the river. And they shoot off fireworks usually around the river, and everybody just kind of celebrates, you know. The nice part about midnight is it doesn't really matter where you're at in the area. As long as you're around people, they're probably going to celebrate with you.
There you go. But if you do plan on celebrating, big takeaway, Dylan, is that you should be dressing warm. Get ready for
dressing warm, and don't forget about your pets, plants, and pipes, even if you're heading out on the town.
Awesome. Well, Dylan, thanks for joining us here on Plus. Certainly appreciate it. All right, well, we are going to get to the rest of your top stories here on WTOC Plus. Savannah police are investigating a shooting that occurred late last night on West 48th Street and Burroughs Street. Multiple police units responded to the scene that you can see right here. Police had blocked off 46 through 48 streets in this area last night. It has since reopened. According to SPD, 2 men were shot but sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Savannah police said they're working to provide more information as it becomes available. And in Hinesville, the Coastal News Service is reporting a vehicle plowed into a home on Christmas night. The vehicle struck the home on the 700 block of Timber Ridge shortly after 11 last night. As you can see on your screen, the vehicle caused some extensive damage to the living room of that house. The Hinesville Police Department is investigating the cause of the accident. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. Well, the Georgia Department of Public Safety has released its list of traffic-related incidents leading up to the Christmas holiday. They say 38 people statewide have been cited for driving under the influence. 24 people were caught distracted driving, and 30 were ticketed for not wearing a seatbelt. In total, there were 36 crashes, and agencies statewide say 3 people were killed in crashes. Turning now to international news, President Trump has announced the U.S. launched, quote, powerful and deadly strikes against Islamic State forces in Nigeria. He said the strikes were launched against terrorists who had been viciously killing innocent Christians, CBS News' Kamal Afzali is following the story from London.
Numerous perfect strikes were the only words the president used to describe U.S. military action against Islamic State militants in Nigeria late Thursday. This unclassified video by the Department of Defense came after a post on Trump's Truth Social. The strike targeted ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians, he wrote. Video shot in northwest Nigeria's Sokoto state appears to show locals holding metal debris, part of a projectile, and a fire burning in the background. U.S. African Command said that strikes were carried out in coordination with Nigerian authorities, a point echoed by Nigeria's foreign ministry in a statement acknowledging the strikes. In Nigeria, following news of the strike, some citizens are reacting with skepticism.
If they're intruding without permission, you're intruding by force, so you're not justified. Every country has the liberty of making their own decision.
The Trump administration has for months highlighted the alleged persecution of Christians in Nigeria, but experts say both Christians and Muslims have suffered at the hands of extremist groups in the West African country. The military action in Nigeria came as Ukraine marked Christmas, counting its dead and injured following overnight strikes that began on Christmas Eve. But Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky tried to keep the momentum on peace talks, speaking for nearly an hour with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the president's son-in-law Jared Kushner. May today's conversation become another step toward peace, Zelensky said in a statement. Kamal Afzali, CBS News, London.
In travel news, today is expected to be pretty busy at airports across the country as people begin to return home after Christmas. Niamani Watson with our sister station is at the Atlanta airport with a look there.
Well, things have started to pick up over the past couple of hours here at the airport, but you can see here at TSA main checkpoint things are running very smoothly this morning, only about a 5-minute wait time, so that is the good news. Airport officials expect around 350,000 travelers to pass through today, and a total of 5 million people over the holiday travel period. That's between December 19th and January 4th. Now, while some people are heading back home this morning, others are deciding to take a trip after Christmas. Ja'Cory Nichols, who's flying this morning to Colorado for a ski trip, says he's surprised the airport is not busy.
Day after Christmas, I thought everybody going back home, but it seemed like they might be catching later flights though. We are a little early. We came a little, hour, 2 hours early?
Yeah, 2 hours early.
And if you are traveling later today or even for New Year's Eve, it is still recommended to get to the airport at least 2 hours before your flight. Reporting from Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.
Turning now to consumer news. After the holidays, a lot of us end up making at least one return to the store. However, that's a process that can get pretty complicated pretty fast. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Carice Jackman shares how to avoid return headaches and protect your money.
Presents are unwrapped, and for some shoppers, the next stop is the return line because a gift doesn't fit, doesn't work, or you already have one. Melanie McGovern with the Better Business Bureau says return rules can vary widely by retailer, so it pays to know the policy before you buy. and before you try to bring it back.
It's really important when you're purchasing the item to look for that return policy, to look for that exchange policy. When you order on some of the platforms, it'll say you can return in store or pick up in store. So knowing if you can do that, really important.
And if you're the one who bought the gift, McGovern says keep that receipt handy.
Keeping everything that comes with the package, whether it's the plastic bag that it comes in or any kind of packing slip, keep the emails that are associated with the payment to say, okay, here is my proof of payment, here is the item. Keep all the tags on everything before you decide, okay, I'm going to keep this item.
And she says those tags matter, especially in a household with kids who want to help open everything.
Tell them to stop, just so that there's that, opportunity that if something doesn't fit or if it's not the right, thing for the person, or if it's a duplicate item, that you are able to return it by having all of those things in place before you make that return.
McGovern also says don't wait. Start the return process as soon as you know it's not right. Most stores only accept returns within a set window, and some retailers adjust those deadlines during the holidays, so check the dates and don't miss your chance. And if you bought the gift online, know the return rules before you ship it back, including any requirements for packaging, proof of purchase, or return shipping.
So reading, even asking questions. A lot of websites have that little AI chat bot in there that you could just throw in the chat. Hey, can I return this if something doesn't work out? They'll give you, you have 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, whatever, original packaging, original receipt.
With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
Turning now to state news. New rules will be in place in 2026 for couples who want to take engagement pictures inside of Georgia's state capitol building. Professional photo shoots will now require a reservation. Photographers will not be able to use flash photography or large props, and photo shoots will be banned during the legislative session, which starts in January. State leaders made the changes after too many couples and their photographers showed up inside the building looking to take pictures.
Finding a perfect, beautiful location like this in Atlanta is one of the hardest things.
The rules apply only to professional photographers, not tourists or visitors using their phones. State officials say that goal is to preserve the historic building while keeping it safe and accessible. Well, 2025 delivered a year full of significant news. A familiar face returned to the White House. Fires and floods forever changed cities and communities across the country. A new pope was chosen, and following an extended out-of-this-world adventure, 2 astronauts finally made it home. Michael Yoshida has a look back on 2025.
2025 began with back-to-back tragedies. New Year's celebrations turned deadly in New Orleans. A terror attack shutting down the city's famed Bourbon Street. Just days later,
we drove up and I just kept saying, my home, my home.
Deadly and destructive fires tear across Los Angeles, destroying thousands of homes.
We wanted to see for ourselves what the damage was, but it's gone. It's gone. It's a total loss.
Heartbreak in Texas. Young girls attending summer camp among the more than 130 people who lost their lives in catastrophic flooding.
Please pray for our community.
And tragedy in our nation's capital. A passenger jet colliding with a U.S. Army helicopter, the deadliest U.S. plane crash in nearly 2 decades.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Donald Trump returned to the White House. Job and spending cuts, tariffs, and immigration enforcement and raids becoming political and social flashpoints. Court battles, protests, and marches playing out across the country. The president claiming there was widespread crime, ordering National Guard troops to several U.S. cities, leading to clashes with protesters.
We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
A White House shouting match as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, President Trump, and others met about Russia's invasion into Ukraine. Months later, a red carpet welcome for Russian President Vladimir Putin landing on American soil. But the high-stakes summit in Alaska did not end with a deal to end the Russia-Ukraine war. 2 years after Hamas attacked Israel, a ceasefire agreement reached. The last living Israeli hostages held by Hamas released in exchange for the release of Palestinian prisoners and detainees. In October and November, we saw the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Fights over health care dividing Congress. The 43-day saga ending with a deal to reopen through January. 6 years after his death, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein back in the spotlight. A twists and turns saga from the White House to Capitol Hill, as survivors pushed for release of the so-called Epstein files.
I know everybody sees us today as grown adults, but we are fighting for the children that were abandoned and left behind in the reckoning.
We're not counting gang violence.
The assassination of conservative political activist Charlie Kirk stunned the country.
It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals.
Comedian Jimmy Kimmel following criticism and political pressure over comments related to Kirk's death taken off air. Free speech protests ensued before Kimmel eventually returned to hosting his late-night show the following week. And our nation said goodbye to political pillars. The 39th President Jimmy Carter honored. And Dick Cheney, Vice President under George W. Bush, also remembered. Tributes poured in across the globe after the death of Pope Francis. White smoke revealing the first Latin American pontiff would be replaced by the first American Pope, Leo XIV, a Chicago White Sox fan turned leader of the Catholic Church. A brazen heist at the world's most visited museum, thieves robbing the Louvre of jewels estimated to be worth more than $100 million. And after what was supposed to be a short mission to space stretched into more than 9 months, NASA astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore finally returned home.
Thank you to a nation that got involved in all of this. It makes it special, not just for us, but for all, I think our nation as a whole.
Pretty honored and humbled by the fact of when we came home, like, wow, there are a lot of people who are interested.
I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Well, before we sign off here on WTOC Plus, we'd like to wish you all a happy Kwanzaa. And if you're observing the holiday here in Savannah, a festive way to celebrate is with the Kwanzaa Crawl. The crawl is a tradition formed under former Alderwoman Keisha Gibson Carter. Each evening, participants go to different eateries to enjoy food, culture, and fellowship under Kwanzaa traditions. Speakers and cultural presenters will be at each evening, and events begin tonight at 6 p.m. at the Henry Street Bistro. You can see some of the other locations. It'll be held throughout next week on your screen right now. All right, and with that, we are going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We appreciate you spending part of your morning with us. We'll be back in just about 40 minutes for another round of stories during the news at noon. And in the meantime, you can always head on over to our website to catch the latest updates. Thanks for watching. Here's Local News Live.